Today I'm talking about the Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. This is one of the best books I've ever read, and I thought I'd say that up front so that if for some reason you trust my opinion, you can swipe away and read it without knowing any more, though obviously I'll try and be vague about major plot points here. It tells the story of an American family, the father of which decides to become a Christian missionary and spread the word of God to unenlightened parts of Africa. So he drags his wife and 4 daughters off to start a new life in a tiny village in the Congo. And we learn alongside them how perhaps inevitably we are changed by the things we try to change, even if we'd insist we're stubbornly remaining the same. I did have a couple of false starts with this book because it puts its least accessible foot forward with a prologue that is fairly cryptic the first time you read it. But if you also struggle here, I encourage you to keep going. It becomes much more grounded and easy to follow once our 4 young narrators touch down in their new home of Kalanga, and from there it just keeps giving. Every one of the narrators is fascinating in her own way, but Ada is maybe one of the best characters I've encountered in fiction. You'll see from her first page how unique her voice is, and the way she grows and changes throughout the story while remaining undeniably herself make her seem uncannily like a real person. And not a boring real person either. I'm talking one of those real people that you're slightly in awe of and nervous to talk to in case you say the wrong thing, so you just sort of keep your distance and hope that they'll somehow realise you share some sort of magic connection even though you barely interacted with them at all, and then one day they move away and you never see them again. Not that that ever happens to me in an endless cycle of regret. One thing that particularly struck me about the Poisonwood Bible is that there's a point about 2/3 of the way through where most authors would have been happy to wrap up the story, bang out a quick epilogue to put a bow on it, and walk away, safe in the knowledge that they'd written a great book. But instead, Kingsolver changes the book's entire structure and keeps going. And that's when it reveals itself as something altogether more sophisticated and impactful, as we come to understand what each of these young women has gained and lost that they'll now have to carry with them or live without for the rest of their lives. I should mention, I don't know exactly how true to life this book is when it crosses over into the actual history and culture of the Congo, but I certainly have more of a sense of that now than I did going in. And given how much of a struggle it is for my brain to retain information these days, that's something I can only credit to the clarity and piercing insight of the writing, even while every sentence is beautifully ornamented with colour, texture and metaphor. I can't say enough good things about this book. In terms of skill and craft, it places Kingsolver up there with some of my absolute favourite authors like Arundhati Roy and David Mitchell, and some of its characters and themes have really stuck with me, gnawing at long-held certainties around life, death and morality. If you don't have enough things gnawing at the inside of your head already, then I urge you to pick up the Poisonwood Bible and, get a real party going in there.